Good morning, dear students. I am teaching chapter 2 and name of the chapter 2 is the microorganisms, friends and foe. Lesson 2, I am teaching microorganisms, friends and foe. So today I will discuss about the food poisoning. What is the food poisoning? Food poisoning. So we will discuss about the food poisoning. What is the food poisoning? You know that you read in newspaper the reports about the children falling sick and vomiting after eating the lunch provided at the school, or people falling sick after eating at a marriage party. What could be reason for this? What is the reason behind this? So doctors would tell you that if maybe due to the food poisoning, it can be due to the food poisoning. So here we will discuss about what is the food poisoning. So I will tell you, food poisoning is due to the consumption of food spoiled by microorganism. Consumption of food spoiled by microorganism. Spoiled by microorganisms. Spoiled by microorganisms. Consumption of food spoiled by microorganism, that is called the food poisoning. So when you will take food at the different marriages party, or you can take food anywhere, that is spoiled by the microorganism, and if you will take that food, then it will cause food poisoning. What it will cause? It will cause food poisoning. And food poisoning is due to the consumption of food spoiled by microorganisms. If food is not preserved properly, it can lead to poisoning. If it is not preserved properly, you can see that it is the lead to the poisoning. And microorganisms like bacteria and fungi are responsible for food poisoning. Which microorganism is responsible? Bacteria and fungi are responsible for the food poisoning. When these microorganisms grows on our body substances, then they produce toxic substances, and these make the food poisonous. So which microorganisms are responsible for the food poisoning? Microorganisms, that is the bacteria and fungi. Bacteria and fungi are responsible for the food poisoning. Bacteria and fungi are responsible for the food poisoning. And how it happens? When these microorganisms grow on our food, when these microorganisms grow on our food, then they produce toxic substances. When they grow on our food, then they produce toxic substances, and these make the food poisonous, and these toxic substances makes the food poisonous, and then it causes vomiting, serious illness and even death. So this is the reason why food poisoning happens. So bacteria causing food poisoning: Salmonella and Clostridium. What is the name of the bacteria? Salmonella and Clostridium. I will tell you which bacteria is responsible. That is the Salmonella and Clostridium. Salmonella. Name of the bacteria is Salmonella and Clostridium. Clostridium. And fungi causing, this is the name of the bacteria: Salmonella and Clostridium. And now I will tell you fungi causing food poisoning. Which fungi is responsible for causing the food poisoning? Moths like Aspergillus. This is the fungi. Aspergillus. You know that Aspergillus and Penicillium. Aspergillus and Penicillium is the fungi, and this is responsible for the food poisoning, and food hygiene is essential for preventing food hygiene is essential for preventing food poisoning. Some oral questions are given on page number 21. So oral questions: who discovered the antibiotics penicillin? Then second question is the which vaccine is given to children orally to protect against a disease at the age of 1.5, 2.5 and 3.5 months. Then which microorganisms causes the foot and mouth diseases in cattle? And name 2 diseases which are spread by the house fly. So this is the food poisoning. And now I will tell you food preservation. What is the food preservation? Why do you use a refrigerator at home? Why you use? Because not only the cooling food, but to store food items we are using a refrigerator at home. And these food items, if kept at room temperature, then it start producing fall smell during the summer season. And in other words, we can say that the food get spoiled and become unfit for consumption. And spoilage of cooked food takes place bacteria because of the action of the microorganism, that is the bacteria and fungi. So which bacteria is responsible for the food poisoning? Salmonella and Clostridium. So this is the food preservation. And how is spoiled food affected? So you can see that emits bad or foul smell, then taste is changed, and nutritional value is affected, and color changes. How is spoiled food affected? You can see that it emits bad or foul smell, taste is changed, nutritional value is affected, color changes. And food preservation, what is the food preservation? Food preservation is the answer to prevent its spoilage. Why food preservation is important? Because it can prevent from the spoilage of the food. And there are many advantages of preserving food. Some of these are: reduces food wastage by avoiding spoilage. And second one is the increases the storage period of food stuff. And nutritive value is retained for a longer period, and ensure food availability in distant places and during off season. So this is the food why we are preserving food, because to prevent from the spoilage and to stop the growth of the microorganism, because when microorganism will start growth on the food substances, then it will cause it produces toxic substances, then we can prevent. So you can see that how we can preserve from the food from its spoilage. So food preservation is the spoilage or prevent spoilage of the food. And microorganism, which microorganism is responsible? That is the bacteria, Salmonella and Clostridium and Aspergillus and Penicillium. These bacteria are responsible for the spoilage of the food. This is the bacteria and this is the fungi. They are responsible for the food spoilage.